Is it working? Yay, it's working. Okay. What up? Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another streaming session thingy. Yay! We're gonna be doing some things, which is fun. Booyah. Yeah, sorry, just trying to set up the last couple of things. Gotta be super quick. Just getting a reference up there. Because I'm drawing a weird pose, I guess. Not really, but something I'm not too used to. Anyways, yeah, cool. No, don't go over there. Welcome. Yeah, last time I streamed, it wasn't too successful. It was just one of those days of like, I'm gonna be happy. Of like, yeah, nah, dude, this is not working. And everyone has those days, and it's fine. It's totally fine. So I decided I'm gonna fit in another stream just to make it a bit, well, so I feel a bit better. Blah 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 blah. Wait. No, wait. Where is it? That one. Go away. Sorry, there was an ad playing that I did not want to listen to. But yeah, either way. Anyway, whatever. So, what I'm going to be doing today is kind of hitting a few birds with one stone. I'm going to be drawing I'm going to be drawing the main character in a game I'm working on with some friends. Her name is Freya. She's adorable. And yeah, while I'm working on some like personal projects, well, I guess it's not really personal. While I'm working on that project, I'm also working on a class project, which is called Concept Art for Games, which is super fun. Oh my soul, I love it so much. But yeah, so I kind of will be doing two things at once, so that just makes my life a lot easier. And yeah, I figured why not. And the character is cute, so hopefully you will all enjoy looking at her as well. But now, because essentially what I am trying to do is get this nice little like jump pose thing going, because she's technically running away from someone chasing her in like the newbie forest kind of vibe. Ooh. What was that? No, it's windows. Yeah, okay. Not too much detail. We'll just get the base down and figure out how exactly I want her to pose. Because it'll kind of be like this foresty landscape. She's gonna be running away from like a giant toad or something. This character hates toads, by the way. Just so you know. Fun fact. Just for reference, this is what like the character looks like. This is her pet. It's super adorable. She's cute. I like her. So I just have my previous drawing of her just so I can be sure I know exactly what she's supposed to look like. Because you'd be surprised at how often you actually forget what your own characters look like. Well, you know what they look like, but then you need to kind of be like, wait, but was the freckles, or was the beauty spot on the left or the right? I don't remember anymore. So yeah, this is just a bit of a reminder. Jumping, there'll be some foreshortening. I'm gonna have to downscale her a little bit, but for now let me just get the basic shape of how she's gonna move. Pose rather is the correct word. I must say the one thing that I like continuously have to remind myself to do when I'm drawing pictures, especially if it's, I don't know, something new and it's a character I'm not that well versed in drawing, or I've like never drawn this particular character before, is just to remember to keep my poses dynamic and not bland and static. And it's really easy to say because I'm pretty sure everyone who's ever tried to draw anything ever in their life has had this experience where you're just like, oh no, this is what I want in my mind, and it's gonna look so amazing and so awesome, and it's like, this is so badass and this is just incredible. And as soon as you like try to put like pen to paper or whatever, you're like, ugh, no, why is my hand not creating what my brain is envisioning? And yeah, so trying to just keep your poses dynamic is easier said than done, but it's something that's worth the frustration and it's worth the practice. Because I mean, it's, even from your personal point of view, you have to agree that looking at an image that has some dynamics to it, has some more movement to it, is far more pleasing to look at than just, you know, a character standing there, I don't know, doing a thing. So yeah, that's a difficult thing to remind yourself to constantly do, is keep the poses like dynamic but still logical, because then you also have those poses where you're just like, wait, you need to like look at it 3 times before you can actually understand what's happening. And yeah, some of it looks cool and some of it's awesome, but that's also not necessarily functional, I'd say. Like, you don't always get to see, or it kind of loses the purpose when you try to over-exaggerate a pose, maybe, or you over-exaggerate what the character should be doing. And then it's just difficult to read, and you also don't want your drawings to be difficult to read. Like, you want to get your message across clearly. Just because, yeah, like, there's no need, well, no point in having it be difficult to read. I'm kind of losing my foreshortening here. And that's the other thing, is just keeping your perspective with a dynamic drawing. Especially like what I'm doing now is I'm using a reference just for the pose, just so I can get like a basic idea of how the body would look if it's bending in that way without like having to stand in front of the mirror myself, because that's just awkward. So I'm just using a reference off screen. And I do suggest that everyone uses a reference when they're drawing, especially if it's something, if it's a pose that you don't know how it works, how it looks, how the body would bend, because that just adds to the believability, that just adds to how well you can actually draw what you're, or how well you can draw or translate what you're trying to draw. But yeah, then the problem is when you do use a reference that's not exactly the pose you want, because that's also unlikely to always get a pose that is exactly what you had in mind, and I actually think that's a good idea. Or it's better that way, because then you don't have the temptation of like, oh no, it's cool, I'm just gonna quickly trace the image, because that is also like, please people, don't trace. Artists spend hours trying to create that image, hours, days, weeks, depending. Like, don't take that away from them. Don't just like, yes, have a reference, that's awesome, but like, don't copy, don't trace, don't like repost the images claiming it's yours. Like, no, that is just bad artist right there. Like, no, shame on you, seesaw. So yeah, have your reference, don't trace, because the chances of you finding exactly what you want in any case is kind of slim. But even if you do find the exact pose that you wanted, just don't copy it. Yeah, and I mean, you learn nothing that way. It's easier, or it's better for you as a growing, developing artist to just try and draw it yourself. But yeah, my original point with this tangent was, oh, my coffee is so good. Not that, but coffee is good. Coffee is the nectar of life. My original point was, like, yeah, especially when you draw a reference that isn't exactly what you want, your perspective, or your original perspective, kind of gets lost. And you're just like, no way, but I completely changed the pose that I wanted to go for. Darn it to heck. And yeah, this is one of those things you just need to be, like, aware of yourself when drawing. Just make sure that you keep the perspective that you were going for. I think I'm losing the original motion I was going for. Keep in mind. Okay. Like this leg, for example, it's looking really weird and not exactly what I'm going for. And if I wanted to keep that very exaggerated perspective, but I decided no, that's still not what I wanted, I'd have to go find just another reference, especially if it comes to like foreshortening. It really helps to have a reference, or then even if you have to go to like stand in the mirror and just gotta be like, okay, well, if I look at it now, that's how my hand would foreshorten, and that's the thing. Also, if you don't know, foreshortening is when objects appear longer or shorter depending on the angle you look at it from. Like if you look at me like straight on, there's no foreshortening happening. If my hands are like, well, let me get the, if my hands are doing things, there's not necessarily foreshortening, but as soon as I bring my hands closer to the camera, there's a lot of foreshortening happening. And it can be less extreme, or it can be like ultra extreme. So that just depends on the look that you're going for. But like if it comes to that exceptionally or the very extreme foreshortening, especially, please go check your references, because it's not something that your brain is necessarily used to seeing. And then it also doesn't necessarily know how to translate the image into a drawing. So then just go stand in front of the mirror, literally, or take a photo and then like copy that, just to make sure that your drawing makes like sense anatomically, because and like looking at my old drawings as well, or looking at some drawings on the internet, like especially when it comes to these exaggerated like perspectives, like so many people mess it up, and like it has the potential to be such a really nice drawing, and then you're just like, ah, nah, fam, what'd you do that for? Because it's something simple, actually. But, oh no, what am I doing? I think this will be fine for now. She's gonna jump, but that part wouldn't bother me as much because she's got like a skirt and a capey thing, like a overskirt. I don't even know what you call that, but she's got that, so it might like hide some of the perspectives and proportions I'm not too sure about myself. So yay for cheating! Okay, cool. I think I have her basic proportions down. Right. This is very messy and very scratchy at the moment. Just want to get her. Okay, so very oval. Far rounder. Alright, now for some weird hair physics. Yay. Guess that makes sense. Alright. Her. Okay, cool. I'm gonna just keep it like that for a minute. Oh, yay, I got love. Ugh, one day I'll learn how to type properly while holding my pen. Right. This seems to be... Okay, I think her basic outline, her basic proportions are fine. Okay, that hand will make sense later, I guess. Alright, this is all you need just to have an idea of where everything will be placed within your image, within your thing. I'm just gonna rename... No. Just gonna rename this Basics. Because this is the basic layers, the basic shapes, the basic thing needed for you to just get an idea of what this is gonna look like or what it might feel like, where your errors are, just to start. Okay. Before this gets cold. It's one of the greatest tragedies in life, is if you made a delicious cup of coffee and you got busy and you forgot about said delicious cup of coffee. And to me, it's borderline sin, alright? Okay, it's not that extreme, but that's how I feel about it, because coffee is like heaven's nectar. It is basically what I function on, and it is delicious. And my boyfriend tends to ask for a cup of coffee, I'll make him some, because, you know, make myself some too. And then he just forgets. He forgets that he has some heaven nectar chilling in a cup right next to him, and he ends up like only drinking half of it. Have to remind him every single time, like, dude, just finish your coffee. Don't make me waste all this precious deliciousness and, you know, just to throw it down the sink again, because also heating up coffee afterwards, just, it doesn't work. It's not yummy at all. But yeah, he's learned, and then every time I forget a cup of coffee, he very much rubs it in my face. Not in a mean way, but, you know, that's just how we roll. Okay, just gonna make a separate layer. So now I just want to get something going in the background. I might still resize her, I'm not too sure. Because like I said earlier, for those who might have missed it, she's kind of running away from a creature in the forest, because this is doubling as a project for a class subject I have. And yeah, there we go. There'll be some ledge-esque thing going on. Just make her even less visible. Yeah, some ledge thing going on. She's gonna be running away from a creature in like a forest, which is the earliest or the first stage of when you enter the game. It's the easiest levels. Very straightforward, very basic. Can't really say too much. But yeah, just gonna be jumping off of this thing, running away from said monster who will be up there. That being said, assuming you'll see the extent of the ledges over there. That's gonna fade a bit. Right, then this is a forest. So she will kind of, well, not she, there will obviously be a whole bunch of trees, some, you know, plant life and whatnot. I must say, like, I tend to despise drawing backgrounds. I don't know, for some reason it was always just seen to me as like, oh no, this is the worst, this is the bane of my existence, this is all terrible. Because it seemed like so much work to me. It seemed like, I don't know, it just was not fun. It's not, it's still the look I don't want. Yeah, it just seemed like a lot of work, a lot of hassle for something that I thought wasn't that fun to draw. And like recently I made a picture, it's up on my Instagram, totally go look at it, of a witch, and I just had to like draw her room behind her, and oh my soul, it was actually so much fun. The whole image just looked like a butt ton better and far more complete. And with concept art for games, which is the subject I'm also like doubling this for, having to design like the environments where your character will be and where she'll do her things, and it's just so much fun actually, just sitting there and developing an image, developing an entire environment that will host people or creatures or whatever it is that you're making. And I don't know, it just became so much better to me, just thinking of like, ah, no, wait, this is actually super fun. Why was this terrible for me? So yeah, like there you go, some tips. What you used to hate might turn into something you love doing. Frogman, come on, Frogman, work with me. Yeah, because the village she's from has like a giant toad problem, and there's this other toad who makes giant toads, so she'll be running away from that guy because she hates toads, because her village has that problem. It's just like, ugh, that's all she knows, it's all she's seen. It's like giant toads doing their thing, she hates it. Hello, Mudir. Alright. I just need some trees in the background that actually look like trees. That's the other thing with the whole, with the forest and all of these things, like your atmospheric light will really determine a lot, because you don't have to put too much detail into all these things in the back, because you're not necessarily going to see all the detail depending on what you want the focus to be. And for me, the focus will then obviously be my character here on the front. So yeah, my background doesn't have to be too detailed. So a lot of this will merge depending on how you use the light. But I just wanted to do like a few things in the background so I can just get an idea of how things would go. It'll probably be like a plant or two here in the front as well. Just to give us the idea that like she's actually within an environment and not like a, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, the fact that she's actually just part of the environment and not just kind of hanging there in mid-air. I must say, one of the other environments I drew for concept art for games was kind of this really cool frog temple-esque thing that was happening, and that was so much fun. That's kind of when I was just like, you know what, drawing backgrounds is actually not that terrible. And I think what made it fun is the fact that like it starts off so basic. It starts off looking absolutely terrible, but yeah, welcome to art. Yeah, and it looks really basic, it looks really crappy, and then as soon as like you work on it slowly and but surely, and like eventually something comes from it where you're just like, you know what, this is actually pretty good, I'm happy with this, I can see this being a thing. Hells yeah. And yeah. That's backgrounds, that's art in general. Everything starts off looking really and then you're like, hey, this isn't too bad. See, now it already looks more like she's actually part of an environment. She's actually part of a landscape, and you can place her. You can kind of start to imagine what it would sound like, what it would smell like, what, you know, the whole atmosphere would be like. And it just completes your image. Gives it something more than just, I don't know, more than just some girl or some frog man. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll figure your face out later. Alright, but I think for now this might be enough basic scratching. Okay, yeah, no, really just messing up. Let's go back to this character. Right, now you see, this is incredibly messy, but it's starting to take shape, and that's essentially what this first little bit is for. Yeah. I'm just gonna hide the background layer for now. And for this one, as basic as this already is, she now needs like her outfit. And yeah, so let's see, let's figure that one out. Yeah. Okay, so turn that one down too. I think that would turn a bit more. Yeah, when it comes to drawing on the clothes now, it's either going to make or break the dynamics of the image, because you need to obviously keep in mind the material that the clothing is made of, how heavy it is, how it would bend, how it actually would react in this particular situation. And yeah, then it makes it interesting, and it's the fun part. It's what, you know, makes it a good or great image, or one of the many things. But yeah, like, especially if you work with something like fantasy or armor or whatever, if it's something you yourself have no point of reference for wearing, it makes it a bit more difficult. But I mean, like, yeah, now you need to consider, like, okay, she is wearing the belt, she is wearing, like, a book bag behind her. How would this all physically react? In order to make it interesting, but in order to still keep it realistic. So yeah, this is, actually, let's just wait with that book for a bit. I think her belt would actually move a bit more slightly uppish, hard to explain. Because her belt kind of hangs loosely. It's not that fastened, if that makes sense. It's not that tight. Okay, but I'll leave the belt for a second then. Right. Okay, if the belt would be about there, means this skirt's about there, so it would flare out. And the overskirt would then also flare out. That might flare out that way. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. That's sort of how I imagine it would go so far. Okay, that would be a bit down. Right. No, take it back. Actually, Shigu, the belt goes over that. Alright, I think this is starting to make a lot of sense. Yay! I love it when my stuff makes sense. Right, then she's got a pair of pants under her skirt, because we're not drawing dodgy stuff. Yay! Alright, now it's just for her stockings. Yes. Then she will be good to go. Well, good to ink. Outline? Yeah, I can't ink her. This is digital. Figuring out the exact way that they would in her shoes. So sort of from the front. Not too much of the heel. They're quite big, bulky shoes, so there's not much to it. Just don't want to make it seem like she's scrunching up her shoulders too much. Pendant would go now. Why did you do that? I think that still makes sense. the tassels. Actually, just do that quickly. Okay. She's got the shirt. It's got that little bit. I don't even know what you call that. It's like a... I don't know. It's got a, like, come together bendy bit. Alright. Well, there we go. Her clothing is essentially plotted out. Which helps a lot. Okay, I already spotted a mistake. Which is good, spotted now, before I ink it or make an outline of everything and then I'm like, oh no, wait, but now I gotta change so much. Cry, cry. Yeah. Well, this seems pretty good, pretty decent. I'm really happy with how she came out now. Yay! But yeah, my time is indeed running out. Got a couple more stuff to do today, other projects, etc, etc. The life of a student. But yes, I will then definitely carry on with this image on Tuesday? Tuesday, yes. Tuesday, same time, from 8. And yeah, I'll carry on with this one so you guys can actually properly see how I finish a image, which I haven't done once, but that's okay. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this image so you can see how everything works together with this lovely dramatic busy background. I might work on some of the outlines, particularly the background, before the stream, but that'll just make it a bit easier for you guys to actually see the thing, and it'll just look better. But that all depends on how far I get with my other what's the word I'm looking for? Projects. There we go. Depends on how far I get with my other projects, but yeah, she should pretty much be the same. There won't be too many drastic changes to this project. But yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for watching the stream and joining me on this lovely adventure. And yeah, I will see all of you guys on Tuesday next week. Fare thee well and have a wonderful day.